Hello everybody, my name is Alan and welcome to Crimicide, the show where we unravel the truth of the world's biggest mysteries. Now this script is one I wrote up a long time ago before the channel took its long hiatus. It never aired, and it honestly is a shame because this is a case that is very strange and unique, and I don't know if many people have heard about it. So I dug it up, I rehashed it, I added to it, edited it, and now I think it's pretty good for YouTube. It's still a very short script, so this is going to be a shorter episode. Hope you don't mind, but yeah, I think it's super interesting. And with that, let's get into it. When you hear Jack and Victorian England, you would rightly think of Jack the Ripper. But what if I told you there was another Jack that terrorized England? In the early 1800s, there were reports in London of human-like, pale, ghost-like creatures that preyed on lone pedestrians. Some speculate that these stories eventually formed the legend of Spring-Heeled Jack. On a dark, cold night in London in October 1837, a woman named Mary Stevens was on her way to Lavender Hill, where she worked as a servant after visiting her parents in Battersea. She was traveling through Clapham Common when a strange figure leaped at her from a dark alley. After grabbing her arms and immobilizing her, the creature began kissing her face and ripping her clothes off with his claws, which were later described by her as, quote, cold and clammy, as those of a corpse, end quote. Panicking, Mary began screaming, causing the creature to flee. Her screams attracted nearby residents who launched an aggressive search but found nothing. The next day, the creature found its second target near Mary's home. Reports claim he jumped in front of a carriage, causing it to crash and severely injuring the coachman. Witnesses claim he then fled by jumping over 9 feet into the air and over a wall, cackling in a high-pitched laughter. The story spread like wildfire, and the press gave him the now infamous moniker, Spring-Heeled Jack. On January 9th, 1838, Lord Mayor of London, Sir John Cohen, officially acknowledged the creature after a public session at his home, speaking of an anonymous letter he received days earlier, omitting some details as he had hoped to gain additional information about the creature. The letter states the following, quote, it appears that some individuals have laid a wager with a mischievous and foolhardy companion that he durst not look upon himself the task of visiting many of the villages near London in 3 different disguises, a ghost, a bear, and a devil, end quote. Sightings of the same being were brought to the mayor's attention from Kingston, Hammersmith, and Ealing. It was also reported that people, quote, dying of fright, end quote, in Stockwell, Brixton, Camberwell, and Vauxhall, as well as repeated sightings in Lewisham and Blackheath, all reporting the same description of a demonic-looking creature that was capable of leaping great heights. Sightings of Spring-Heeled Jack continued until 1877, until he seemingly disappeared into obscurity. This was not the case, however, as sightings of Jack were reported in Liverpool in 1888, and in 1904 was reported to be seen on William Henry Street. This has so far been the most recent and last sighting of the creature. Descriptions of Jack remain relatively consistent, people describing him as demonic, pale, pointy ears, a split tongue, sharp teeth, and on a couple occasions with blue fire erupting from his mouth. Spring-Heeled Jack made his impact in English folklore and pop culture. He's appeared in numerous Penny Dreadful stories as somewhat of a hero type, and is even an inspiration for more modern references, such as his appearance in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and even referenced in The Elder Scrolls IV: Oblivion. Theories and speculation have been tossed around since the very first sighting, ideas ranging from a real, paranormal shape-shifting entity to mass hysteria. Before we get into the truth behind Spring-Heeled Jack, or at least my speculation of it, I'd like to ask you all to please support the channel by comment, liking, subscribing, and ringing that notification bell for updates on my content. I'm moving early next year, and it's a personal goal of mine to hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. If you guys could help with that, it would be very appreciated. Also, don't forget to use my promo code CRIME98 and click the link in the description for a 10% discount on any Ulti Energy products. Their collaboration has really helped the channel too. It's been an interesting experience. I want to see where it'll go, but so far I've got a pretty good feeling about it. And with that, let's finish today's episode. Now, of course, this is the part of the script where I chip in my own theories and speculations on what, of course, this thing could be. Stripping away the popular culture impact and tearing the story to the bare bones, what do we have? We have a being with a devil-like appearance who appears to be able to leap great heights and, for some reason, breathe fire on occasion. Obviously, this isn't the work of a supernatural demonic entity, but more so, at least I speculate, a madman with a flair for the dramatic and the ability to scale walls that may have been perceived by scared onlookers as a great leap, but may actually be explained by climbing a wall or the side of a building in some way that have gone unnoticed by victims in their fear, such as via hanging ivy or some architectural unintentional handholds. These would explain the early cases of Spring-Heeled Jack, and it's easy to interpret that the Jack known years later was based off this original incarnation and embellished to make a fantastic story and produce fear and hysteria to the masses for cheap entertainment for the time. Such practices were common for newspapers and magazines of the era. That being said, there's no way to know for certain who or what Spring-Heeled Jack may have been, or even if he existed in the first place. The answers to these questions may elude us forever, but they have certainly provided quite the amazing story we can all look back on. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this dive into the archives of Crimicide. I know it's short, and I apologize for that, but this has been something that's been sitting in my archives for a little bit, and I just really wanted to get it out there because it was such an interesting story. And don't worry, I've got longer episodes on the way. I've already got ideas for scripts for the future. I've got a couple of them hanging on my wall here, so, you know, no worries, I'm going to run out of ideas anytime soon. I'm also thinking about doing another Reddit video on the paranormal, because that was exceedingly popular. Easily the most popular video on my channel, with almost 2,000 views, which is absolutely insane for my small channel. It's super exciting. Oh, I've never felt that happy doing anything on the internet in my life. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. I've got more content on the way every week, coming out with some new super amazing videos, so go ahead and ring that notification bell and subscribe if you want to be notified on my future updates on stuff. But yeah, see you guys in the next video.